What is the history of the Audit Act?
Do you remember? On the 5th of July 2018, the Parliament passed the National Audit Act. One of the main reasons that pushed our country toward bankruptcy was the lack of financial discipline. Along with that, officials in ministries and other institutions that handle public funds either misused public money, turned a blind eye to its misuse, or even facilitated it. There were also occasions where auditors, the main officers responsible for investigating such misuse and exposing fraud, themselves became victims at the hands of financial wrongdoers.
Do you recall the acid attack on Lalit Ambanwala?
That was one such incident. In 2002, Auditor Lalit Ambanwala, who was serving as the chief accountant at the Central Province Education Department, was attacked with acid. He had exposed a 12 million rupee fraud linked to a computer purchase project for the department. He also revealed that from 1999 to 2001, officials responsible for the fraud had misappropriated 8.5 million rupees under the guise of teacher training programs. He further exposed the involvement of the former education director in Kandy and the chief accountant, among others. When attempts were made to silence him with a 10 million rupee bribe failed, the corrupt officials resorted to carrying out an acid attack against him in May 2002. As a result, he lost sight in one eye. Today, it is with the support of his investigations, carried out after enduring such great pain and returning to service with one eye, that former ministers Mahindananda Alutgamage and Nalin Fernando were convicted and imprisoned over allegations of misusing state funds to distribute carom boards. Even until his passing on the 14th of May 2021, Lalit Ambanwala's audits had played a role in uncovering major cases, the Ministry of Agriculture leasing a building at an inflated rent, and the State Printing Corporation misappropriating 41 million rupees under the guise of repairing printing machinery. Now, we recall these events to highlight the importance of the audit service in our country. From the start, it was clear that if corruption and fraud rooted in the country were to be eliminated, the auditing process had to be strengthened, and the Auditor General had to be empowered to impose surcharges on the officials responsible. Both audit trade unions and civil organizations fought for this. The National Audit Act of 2018 was the result of that struggle. The 2018 bill proposed giving the Auditor General the authority to impose surcharges, meaning the power to recover misused funds from those responsible.
What is a surcharge?
It means reclaiming money that has been overpaid or making an official personally liable to repay the state for the losses caused by their actions. But was the act passed as expected? No. The government of the day passed the amendment in a diluted form, placing the final power to impose surcharges in the hands of the ministry or department heads themselves. In other words, the very heads who spent public money were also given the authority to investigate the misuse and decide on surcharges, which was quite ironic. So, what people hoped for did not materialize, and the country eventually went bankrupt partly because of such failures. Now, once again, Parliament yesterday passed the National Audit Amendment Bill, this time to strengthen the process. The new amendment makes the Surcharge Review Committee more empowered and independent. Under Section 12 of the 2018 Audit Act, the Auditor General's recommendations could be considered in court, but now, with the amendment, the Surcharge Review Committee also has the authority to examine them.
Back then, the Audit Act was passed after clipping the Auditor General's wings. Today, we are restoring those wings. The Auditor General is now empowered to direct his findings to an independent body, the Surcharge Review Committee, which is appointed by the Constitutional Council. For the first time, the Auditor General himself can recommend names to that council. Once appointed, this committee can then issue surcharge certificates to chief accounting officers initiating formal recovery processes.
මෙන්න මේ අධිභාර පැනවීමේ ක්‍රියාවලිය කරන්න කියලා.
The new amendment also prevents MPs, provincial councillors, or members of local authorities from serving on the independent committee, ensuring it remains free of political influence. At the end of the day, the people's demand is clear: to stop corruption and fraud in the country. The Auditor General and the auditing mechanism are among the main institutions that are capable of doing this. And while yesterday's amendments are based on drafts prepared during the previous government's term, if shortcomings remain, they must be addressed with further reforms. Strengthening the audit system will pave the way for a fearless and corruption-free public service and help free the country from the grip of corruption. The 2/3 majority given by the people must be used for that purpose. That is their expectation.